This is a final boarding call for flight NZ 8952 from Incheon to Christchurch. Could the following passengers come to gate 27? This is the final call for DAS FM, Evans and Young. Final boarding call for flight NZ 8952 for DAS FM, Evans and Young. Thank you.
I told you how good the fruit chicken was here. More made to. Hey Lewis and Jamo, W10 is our flag leaving? Oh Bouguer. Oh well, more chicken and beer.
Party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 104 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both the All Whites and with Cashmere Technical. I hope you're doing well, and coming up today we're going to recap what happened at the FIFA World Cup 2034, seeing as we got knocked out last week in the second round. Off the back of that, a chance for us to wrap up the Southern League title as we take on Otago Uni exactly the same time that the World Cup final does take place. And also before then, we did do some transfers while the World Cup was going on, so we'll reveal how that's changed our squad here at Cashmere Technical. So if you're looking forward to all that coming up in today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But last week, not as many videos as I was hoping for. Apologies about that. I got pretty crook for a couple of days there, so just decided to take things easy, and as it worked out, that was alright because we didn't last too long at the World Cup anyway, going out in the second round to Spain. If you missed the episode, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. When coming back towards the latter end of the World Cup, I say towards the latter end, at the same time that we take on Otago University, a game which if we win, we will lift the Southern League title with 4 games left in our season. All the rest of the teams who can catch us only have 3 games left, and we'd go 11 points clear. So a chance for us here to wrap up the Southern League with a perfect record so far, with still a few games left in that season. And then hopefully, off the back of this, I can skip forward a bit further, see if we do any more transfers and come back for something interesting in either the National League Championship or the Chatham Cup. Early warning too, Friday's a public holiday here in New Zealand, so you might only get 4 videos this week. That's something I can't avoid because I told the wife I'd help her drop off flyers for a business, and I've also got a song coming out. So I'm a bit busy this Friday, public holiday, no video then, but 4 videos before then. This is the first of them, and a chance for us here to lift the Southern League. But before then, we've done transfers, and even before that, the World Cup. As I said, the final is taking place the same time as we take on Otago Uni. So first up, let's have a look at what's happened since we departed in the second round. And here are the results from all these second round matchups. Don't forget, actually ran through these before we left things at the end of last week. So as you can see, about halfway down there was our 1-0 loss to Spain. As I said, pretty tough draw that, taking on a team who are ranked 7th in the world that early in the competition. Thankfully, Australia didn't go any further either. They actually got to go to Seoul, which would have been quite nice, but they lost 2-1 to Colombia after extra time. Austria beat Belgium, bit of a surprise that one. Portugal got past Mexico. Netherlands past Costa Rica. We could have beat them if we just got a draw for the Netherlands. They're actually a bit frustrating. Nigeria got past Ecuador. France past Ghana. Germany past Egypt. Chile past the USA. That's a bit surprising. Brazil, they beat Sweden. Argentina took penalties for them to get past Bulgaria. Italy, they beat Iran. Serbia got past Ukraine. Uruguay got past Syria. Croatia just defeated the Ivory Coast. So to be fair, that might have actually been an easier draw for the Ivory Coast than what we got, because Croatia, a bit further down the world rankings, albeit not that much, might have been in trouble either way there in the group that we ended up in. And also, it was Paraguay who got past Poland 4-2. Of course, Poland, they did beat Brazil in their group. Doesn't look like that helped them too much. Those are results from the second round. Moving on to the round of 16. The Netherlands, they got past Colombia 2-1. Portugal knocked out Austria on penalties. Spain kept themselves alive with a 3-1 win over Nigeria. That's pretty expected considering we beat Nigeria before the tournament. France just beat Germany in a big clash there early in the competition. A couple down to Brazil just got past Argentina. Some big matchups in the round of 16. Also, Italy got past Chile pretty comfortably. And a couple of penalty wins there for Paraguay over Serbia and Croatia over Uruguay. So those results from the round of 16. That set up the quarterfinals, where France defeated the Netherlands 2-1. Spain got past Portugal 1-0 to Spain, off the back of beating us, have gone relatively deep into the final four there of the World Cup. Italy 2-1 over Croatia, and Brazil 1-0 over Paraguay, making up for last World Cup when we knocked them out in the round of 16. Those were the day's semi-finals. Brazil beat France. Brazil made their way to the final, as did Italy. That was where the run of Spain did end. A bit unlike what happened at the Euros the morning that I'm recording this, where Spain battered them. Own goal, though, was the deciding factor in real life, but Italy somehow beat them in this version, so that did set up a third and fourth place playoff between France and Spain, and it was won by France to Spain. They finished fourth, the team that knocked us out, but France, they finished third in the World Cup, and we'll come back off the back of this chance for us to wrap up the Southern League and see who wins the final between Italy and Brazil. Italy, if you're wondering, the third best team in the world. I think Brazil might be a bit below that off the back of that last World Cup, albeit not too much. Fourth, so the third and fourth best teams in the world are playing off for the 2034 FIFA World Cup. So that's what's going on. As I said, we'll update you guys off the back of this chance to lift the Southern League, which we should be doing against Otago Uni, of who did pick up that World Cup. But before then, back to Cashmere Technical mode. We have done some transfers while that World Cup was taking place, both in and out. Spent a bit of money on some players, while some did depart, and not really players I would ideally have let go of, but the money was too good, and also one of them was here on a non-contract. So what's happened over on the left-hand side? First up, brought in a young American in John Rawlings. He's currently living in the under-20s, but does have quite good potential, decent current ability. 20 years old, he could be a decent option for the future. So we brought him in on a free, the former Atlanta United and New York Red Bulls man. So he might be someone who pops up in the future with some decent potential. But some first-team signings we made off the back of that. Two of them were from the Marconi Stallions, an A-League club who are getting relegated. So that's the reason we could pick up these two youngsters so cheap. Both of them are New Zealanders and were up there in terms of being fringe players in our World Cup squad and are quite young. That's the reason we snapped them up for quite cheap money. First up, Jack Honey, who's a relatively promising left back. Now, he's 19 years old. He's a bit better than Leon Sutton. Unfortunately, also turns 20 at the end of this season, but still, he's got way more potential than Leon Sutton. It does mean that we now could offer out Leon Sutton and try and get a fee for him before we probably let him go at the end of the season on a free. But Jack Honey, formerly of Western Suburbs, before that brief move over to Marconi, that was on a free. He comes back to New Zealand and joins the Oceania champions for £3,500. But decent left back, good current ability, pretty decent potential. He could end up being a starter for us and hopefully might develop to be a future option with the All Whites, especially because I dare say Libero Kakache won't be around for that next World Cup in 4 years' time. So Jack Honey comes in as an extra left back and is now the backup in behind Xavier Smith. And also, a few days later, we brought in Chris Greenidge, a player actually tried to sign off of East Coast Bays, but he opted for Marconi. He's seen the light and came back here as a left winger, and again, with pretty good potential, current ability, not too great, but definitely the second best we've got here these days at Cashmere Tech. So he joins us also from the Marconi Stallions, that one for a fee of £2,000. So a couple of youngsters were picked up there, both players who are under 20, at least in terms of the rest of the season. Next season, that will change, which is a bit of a bummer. Then a couple of sales before our next move, which actually makes Chris Greenidge the third choice left winger these days. First up, Kennedy Mahamadou. He was getting some pretty big interest from some overseas clubs and also was at the World Cup with Cameroon, so it did kind of make sense. I don't think he'll switch to New Zealand even after 5 years if he is playing regularly for a nation like Cameroon. He's gone over to Al Ittihad Kalba. I imagine those guys are in Saudi. In fact, no, they are in the UAE. But unfortunately, our star right winger, Kennedy Mahamadou, is no longer with us. We sold him for a fee of £110,000 off the back of a season and a half of really good work here at Cashmere Tech. But as I said, had been playing at the World Cup Cameroon, scored a couple of goals there. But unfortunately, we said that we'd sell him for a certain fee, which was above his market value when he was here. That got triggered by those blokes in the desert, so he is no longer with us, and these days is valued around the £6 million mark. So a bit frustrating how these player values are shooting up so much off the back of us selling these guys, but Kennedy Mahamadou has left us, as I said, not too sure if we could have converted him to a New Zealander if he's playing regular football or Cameroon. And also, we lost our backup to Louis Evans, who's a local. Theophilus Simopoulos was here on a non-contract. He's gone back to Greece to play for Niki Villau. So those are the players that we lost while at the World Cup. So it does mean now if we lose Louis Evans to injury or suspension, might be another shuffle up coming in terms of foreign options in the first team, as we don't have a backup ball-wing midfielder who is a local, albeit Jake Honey can cover there, so that's something we might be able to do. But one more transfer we did make on a free, new starting left winger over Kevin Mina, because he's a bit better, the Italian, and Giorgio Ciardiello. He is formerly of Bologna and does look pretty decent. 4 stars, current ability and potential for the 22-year-old. Can play pretty well as a winger, as you can see there, through the role and duty if my big fat face cam is not in the way. Very good attributes, and as I said, a bit better than Kevin Mina. So a new first choice left winger for us here at Cashmere Tech, and quite a few backup squad players as well that we have picked up off the back of the Marconi Stallions being relegated. So that's what's happening in terms of transfers while we were off at the FIFA World Cup. So I think we've strengthened our team here quite nicely for the rest of the season at Cashmere Tech, and we get the chance now to wrap up the Southern League. I think what's happened since you were last here is we've beaten a few teams in the Chatham Cup, but not done too much else. I think we've beaten SU. I think that game actually happened before the World Cup, but off the back of that, we've beaten Douglas Villa and Roslyn Waikerie 4-0 and 5-0. Some of those new signings did make their first appearances in those games. Now a chance for us, as you saw earlier, to wrap up the Southern League when we take on Otago Uni. And off the back of that, then we can see who won the World Cup in that final between Italy and Brazil. But Otago Uni is with most of the teams in the Southern League. Very good record against these guys. Don't actually think we've ever lost to them, like is the case with most teams that we do play in the Southern League these days. Indeed, that is the case. 17 games, 17 wins, ridiculous goal differential. This should be our chance here to wrap up the Southern League with a couple of games in hand. And thankfully, we come into this one with no injury concerns. A couple of ineligible players. That's because some are still here on trial who we could sign going into tomorrow's episode. Might be some more transfers coming, but hopefully now we're going to wrap up the Southern League with a win at the GMP over Otago Uni. And here are the team sheets for this clash where we could lift the Southern League title yet again. In terms of us, as I mentioned before, just one change to our usual best 11 now. Ciardiello at left wing. He comes in for Kevin Mina, but apart from that, that's our former best 11. There are Otago Uni. They're also going with the 4-2-3-1. They're down in 6th. We've been perfect so far this season. Hopefully that will continue, and we're going to get a trophy lift at the end of this one. And in fact, a highlight here immediately from the kickoff. Otago Uni away from home are in the all-white. That would be a very messy uniform off back of some of the bus trips with those guys, considering their university students, but nonetheless, they keep the ball here at the moment quite well. Play that one back to Griffith in goal, pumps it deep. Thankfully, McGoldrick will win that one for us, but then his header is just off the mark. Thankfully, poor pass there. That finds Janssen. Early chance for us here on the counter-attack. It finds Castro, who apparently was onside. Now, Nkuru plays that one across to Sam Clark. He picks out the Ciardiello, who will score a debut goal, his first start here at Cashmere Tech. Not so fast, because apparently he was offside, so that's a bit frustrating. Thought we had a pretty instant impact there from the Italian on debut, but off the back of that, we do see the free kick. Goes down inside the box from that tackle from Wilson. Not too sure if it's Jeff. I think Goldie's getting a bit old these days, but a chance for us here from the spot. Who is on these? I imagine it's Janssen. In fact, it's Castro. Early chance for him to get on the score sheet. Sends Griffith the wrong way. Goes bottom left corner. Only his 9th goal so far this season, which feels a bit low, especially compared to what he did last season. Of course, was injured for a bit of the OFC Champions League, which is a pretty good stat padding period, but an early penalty. Thankfully, Castro puts it away and gives us a 1-0 lead. In fact, before I can wrap things up, another highlight here at the 4-minute mark as we get this game out of the way and see who picks up that FIFA World Cup in that final between Italy and Brazil. Ideally, actually might have been able to watch that one, but the games are on at the same time, which is a bit annoying, especially considering I don't think the times in South Korea and New Zealand mesh very well, because South Korea 5 hours behind New Zealand. So yeah, I'm not too sure how that works in FM with all the games kicking off at exactly the same time, no matter what region you are in. But we keep the ball here off the back of the highlight that has started off the back of that goal that we put away from the spot there through Castro. Nice ball back from Teo DeMiro. Picks out now, it goes in there for Lorenzo Janssen, and was onside. Quick fire double there. Janssen, who I thought might be taking that penalty, puts that one away from close range, and already looking like going to be lifting the Southern League title here yet again at Cashmere Tech, as after only 5 minutes, we're 2-0 in front. And lots of highlights early in this one. At the 10-minute mark, there's a free kick here for Otago Uni, albeit it's a really poor one. They just give that ball there to Niankuru, controls it well, and plays that one back to Hawkins. Now goes out there to, that would have been McGoldrick. Now we try and get something going here down our left-hand side. Ciardiello, not a good pass from there, but thankfully that ball over the top, Teo DeMiro can tidy that one up for some reason. Takes it towards the corner, but eventually plays that one forward to Tressor, who will be pretty close to an all-whites call-up for the next World Cup cycle. In fact, really should be there for 2038, wherever that is. Now Torik Na makes his way inside the box, goes down yet again, this time a tackle from Steele. That did look pretty debatable, but another chance here for Juan Carlos Castro to score from the spot, get himself on a penalty hat-trick. Goalkeeper goes the right way, but to be fair, didn't move too much. Castro, far too much power on that one. That's now his 10th goal of the season. I said he might have missed the chance to stat pad in the OFC Champions League. This looks like it could be a good chance for him to do it in this game, because Otago Uni struggling early, albeit both those penalties a bit debatable. Pretty similar ones given there, actually. I think the first tackle was a bit more dodgy. That one did look pretty clean, but apparently a penalty, and Castro puts it away. He is now on a hat-trick off the back of the restart. Otago Uni, they give the ball away. Starts to make his way out to the right-hand side at tackle on, but rather unfortunately for Otago, that one does fall to Niankuru. Goes back there to Evans, back to Tressor. Now Clark plays that one in to Lorenzo Janssen, and he gets himself on an open play hat-trick. 2 players now on hat-tricks inside 15 minutes in this one, and it's looking pretty safe for a trophy lift come the end of this lone game in today's episode, because being honest, the game's off the back of this not going to be too interesting with nothing to play for, but all over Otago Uni early, 4-0 in front in less than 15 minutes. And the highlights continue here, only 17 minutes into this game now. It's a throw-in for us here inside of the final third. Can we make it 5-0 very early and just put the hammer down here against the students from Otago? Ciardiello will find Castro, takes a shot. There's his hat-trick, that one from open play. I think that one took a pretty big deflection to beat Griffith, but we'll take it. Castro finally scores one from open play. Our young Italian picks up his first assist here in a Cashmere Tech shirt, albeit I'm pretty sure Castro still had quite a bit of work to do. Gets himself set up. That definitely takes a big deflection there off a defender, but that makes it 5-0. And we're just about into the second half now of this first half with this 5-0 lead. No chance Otago Uni are coming back from this one, but let's see how many more goals we can score here at the GMP in this title party. But at the moment, Otago Uni actually keeping the ball quite nicely from this highlight. They try and play it one over the top there down the right-hand side and actually do quite well to keep that ball. So might be a chance here for them to grab an equaliser. Mills starts to make his way edge of the box, but that ball a bit too close there inside of the inner box. Easy work that for Josh Hawkins, who rolls it out to the young Brazilian in Teo DeMiro. Now Niankuru makes his way forward down the right, plays it to Na, eventually gets it back, and now it goes a bit more infield to Evans, and we start to go a bit more central here through Sam Clark. Goes back there yet again to Teo DeMiro. Now Clark plumps this one forward into the final third. Nice ball back from Na over for Castro. First time finish. It's an absolute rocket. He's now got 4 in this game. Janssen being left behind in the leading goal scorer for this game, which really you only care about if you got a bet on at the local agency. But this is an absolute pumping. Could be on here for a rugby score, 6-0, and we're not even at the half-hour mark. And almost made our way to half-time. Not too much happening here in the second part of this first half, but a late highlight here. It's in our favour inside of the final third, just knocking the ball about here in amongst our defence, but eventually might get something going here down this right-hand side as Evans. He eventually there finds Niankuru. Nice ball forward there. Picks out Janssen looking for that hat-trick in the first half, but that one comes off the woodwork really. Only chance so far we haven't taken where one of our players has actually been onside, but that is a very clinical first half. 10 shots on target, 6 goals. Otago Uni have done next to nothing. We're 6-0 in front. Everyone out there nice and fresh considering big breaks we've had recently in the games here at Cashmere Tech off the back of that FIFA World Cup. No subs needed because we're bashing them 6-0 at half-time. And there continues to be a lot of highlights in this game. First one, second half there, Otago University try and make their way out from the back, but poor pass there, and I think that was Sam Clark who got that one back for us. We're on the attack here again, looking to make it a rugby score nice and early in the second half. Tio DeMiro plays that one forward to Clark over the top there. Ciardello will put that one away. Griffith there gives him far too much space at his near post, and he puts it away and eventually does score a debut goal for us here at Cashmere Tech. Does our new first choice left wing, a good break there from Clark, won the ball back to get us on the attack and gets the assist for the Italian. It's a rugby score. We're leading 7-0. And with 25 minutes left to go in this title party here at the GMP, another highlight here for us, and it's in our favour, and we play that one into the box, and that's a wonderful curving effort from the Italian. Also now gets himself on a hat-trick so far, only 3 goal scorers, and we go from a converted try to a try and a penalty, which is pretty difficult in rugby, but thankfully in football, that's pretty easy for us. Otago Uni just being spanked, Ciardello on a hat-trick, and we take an 8-0 lead. And only a few minutes on from that 8th goal might be another chance for us here to grab another and make it 9-0, which will then make sure that we've actually gone tryless in this game, going a bit Northern Hemisphere. Janssen makes his way inside the box, try to take that one there in behind Ibrahim, gets brought down. I think Janssen now will get the chance to complete a hat-trick. Not the best penalty, but still beats Griffith, who kind of tried to make him go left there. It didn't work. He goes next to straight down the middle, just on the left-hand side, and puts that one away. Janssen completes a hat-trick, and we go 9-0 in front. And in fact, while we're here with only about 15 minutes left, I think it's time for us here to make some substitutions. We'll try and bring on Jack Honey, seeing as he's under 19, but first up, I think we'll give a rest here to Louis Evans, especially now that the Greek-Australian lad has left us. We'll bring on Tristan Turner in his place. Jack Honey can come on for Smith. That can also mean we can give Niankur a rest there for Isaac Hughes. There'll be our subs off the back of taking that 9-0 lead. And we're just about into the last 10 minutes of this game. We've got a highlight here, and it might actually be in favour of Otago Uni. So let's see if they can get a goal back and close the gap to 8, slightly more respectable. A block cross there, and it forced a steal just outside the box. Not a bad effort, but Hawkins does get forced there into a dive, but it goes relatively well wide. And then we make our way into the last 5 minutes of this game. This has been pretty easy. We were 6-0 at half-time, never really in doubt. Off the back of that, Castro picked up 4 goals, Janssen 3, Ciardello 2, only 3 goal scorers, but they scored 9, and we pick up that win to lift the Southern League title yet in here at Cashmere Tech. That does mean we've got National League Championship football to look forward to, but to be fair, that was never really in doubt. We do get a trophy lift from this one game. In today's episode, off the back of this now, I can go forward a bit until we get something a little bit more competitive, hopefully, against some teams from some other regions in New Zealand, but Southern League champions yet again here at Cashmere Tech, off the back of that 9-0 win. So, very easy win for us there in that one game. In today's episode, made the most of that chance there to lift the Southern League title as we usually do. That at least makes it now 6 in a row since we've taken charge here at Cashmere Tech. I'll just see if I can find out if we've won any more than that. And I do think it's 6 because that first year, of course, we did lose that National League final to Auckland City. We'll just confirm, and indeed, that 6 years in a row, 6 from 6 for us in the Southern League. As you would expect, considering that Cashmere Tech as well were actually doing quite well before we got here off the back of our move from AFC Auckland. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen all the inbox items. They don't mean too much here for the Southern League. But before we wrap up today's episode, let's check out what happened in the World Cup final, which did take place at the Seoul World Cup Stadium early in the second half. Actually, Donnarumma in goal for Italy. He got injured to be forced from the field, so a change there in goal for Italy might have made a difference there as Marcus Leonardo beats Bettini from a tight angle. But then, Oscars of out of time here for Italy. Fratesi makes his way forward on a long run. Wonderful individual goal just before full time to take this one to extra time. And eventually penalties. Well, Pedro just sends Bettini the wrong way with that first one. Then Esposito, save from Silva. Not good start there for Italy. 1-0 down already. Then Vitor Roque gets his pen save from Bertini. So 1-0 Brazil. And Zaniolo can't make the most of it. Goes straight down the middle. Moraes puts it away. 2-0 Brazil. Really must score here. Time for Italy with Moretti. Silva with the save. And that is what wrapped up the World Cup apparently. Couldn't see that last one that was scored by Marcus Leonardo, but Italy missed all their penalties. To be fair, not too sure if Donnarumma would have helped them too much in that shootout, but Brazil, with a 3-0 win in the penalty shootout, are the World Cup champions. We beat a World Cup winner at the last World Cup, which is a bit frustrating getting knocked out in the second round, but Brazil, they bounced back and are now the champions of the world. So that will do it for today's episode of World Cup Recap. You can see all the stats there over in the top right, and also we lift the Southern League title with Cashmere Technical. If you enjoyed today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. We'll come back tomorrow, hopefully make our way into the championship phase of the National League. Might be a few more transfers, and if not that, we'll come back for some interesting games in the Chatham Cup instead, but definitely going to take on some half-decent opposition in tomorrow's episode, hopefully. So until then, thank you very much for watching, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.